Hello.
Hey Buzz, how you doing, man?
How are you?
I'm very good. I'm a bit jealous of your hair again.
Oh, you look great. No problem.
How's your day been so far?
I'm not bad. Where are you at?
I am in Montreal, Canada.
I've never heard of it.
Well, I've seen you in Montreal, so I think maybe you've been here a few times, right?
Nope. Never.
Okay, I'll believe you. Many wouldn't, but
I've been to Canada a number of times, and I've been to Montreal. I don't know how many times.
yeah. And we actually met in the UK when you played in Nottingham at the Rescue Rooms. I was doing some pictures for Rock Sound, and I took some pictures of you
Okay, good. Cool.
down there. Yeah,
Very nice.
yeah. Good times.
Like, you take pictures. You're a photographer.
Yeah, that's kind of my day job. So I do a lot of music photography and other stuff.
So you've been out of business for music photography for 18 months.
Yeah, I actually shot my first shows this weekend, like
Huh?
since March of last year.
So Canada's having shows again.
Slowly but surely, but it's kind of like local bands or at least Canadian bands. We're still getting cancellations from the like US artists that were meant to be coming up here. So it's still not perfect. And I'm from the UK, so everything seems to be more normal over there. So I'm kind of watching it from afar with a bit of envy.
There is nothing normal in the UK.
Well, I'm from there, so I'll take that.
On the best of times, there's nothing normal from the UK.
Five-Legged Dog, a 4-album collection of acoustic songs by Melvins. Why now?
Well, if 3 is good, 4 is better. It's like taking aspirin. If 1 is good, 2 is better.
Yeah, there's limits though.
Oh, only in your mind. You know. We figured why not? It'd be good. We weren't sure exactly how. Once we started touring, how we were going to be able to even do it. So we thought if we had to do something smaller, we might as well have some product. And then it just built into this 36-song thing.
Is it something that you'd been planning for a while, or it was something that you decided to do because you had the time?
Well, we had the time, and then during COVID, we pretty much only had time for planning. We had plenty of planning time, so
Yeah.
it was easy to dream up something that ridiculous. We put out another album last year, or this year, working with God in February, March, and we've also done a bunch of limited edition stuff as well.
Yeah, nice. So out of all these songs, and there's 36 songs on the album, was there one or two that were harder to interpret in the acoustic way? Did you struggle with any of them?
The hardest is probably Halo Flies cover by Alice Cooper.
Okay.
A lot going on in that song. And that was a tough, and I think it came out really good. I'm really happy with it. And then what was another tough one? Maybe I Flies, but we tagged on a cover at the end of I Flies, a song by Free called Woman.
Right.
I've always wanted to do that song. I love the riff in it. And I was very excited to have that happen.
When you think about Melvin's original songs, you wouldn't necessarily think they would translate to acoustic songs, but they actually translate really well for the most part.
Yeah, it works great.
Do you know why that is? Do you know, is it something to do with the song structure or the songwriting that you've done?
Most of the songs are written either on an acoustic guitar or electric guitar played acoustically, or electric guitar played through a small amp. So it already started out small.
Right.
The idea that it's going to get bigger. And take a good song and put vocals on it. I mean, guys like Bob Dylan proved that he can play any of his songs on acoustic and they're fine. That's it. If it's a good song, it's good. I did acoustic solo record, my first one 7 years ago, and I went on tour and played those songs and a bunch of Melvin songs too, and it was fine. So I knew it would work.
How does this album differ to what you've done as a solo artist?
This has drums on it. The Gift of Sacrifice, the last solo record, had a stand-up bass on it.
Right.
So it's a little different, but it's a full band, and we wanted something that the whole band could play if need be, and that's exactly what we did. And 2 records or 1 record, 2 records. Lots of people do double albums. 3 records. Well, if we're gonna do 3, we might as well do 4.
Okay. Yeah. It's it's something to really get stuck into, plan your evening around, I guess. But how do you like, you've gone for quite a broad selection of covers on this album. How do you decide what you think is going to work alongside the Melvin songs?
Well, some of those we'd already played live, like Sway by the Stones, we played live. Alice Cooper song we played live. The Red Cross cover we played live. So we knew those would work. Right. Alice Cooper, when we were questioning how well it would work, because it's tough. I mean, it's a lot going on, and to get that to translate to acoustic, and it's actually acoustic. It's not I'm not running through an amp or anything. It's just mic'd acoustic guitar. Wasn't the easiest thing in the world, but we managed to pull it off. And the guys they play with are good players. They know what they're doing. So took a little bit of wrangling, but we got it to work. The Turtles cover was fun to do. That was Steven singing that. He did a great job on that. And Sway was fun to do, but Sway, like I said, we played that live. That's an odd song we're gonna do a Stones cover. We're gonna do Sway, which is, it's an odd choice. But yeah, we're huge fans. I thought maybe we'd be able to do it. Sure enough, we pulled it off. So, which
of the covers do you think is most removed from the original?
Probably Everybody's Talking with Jeff Pincus singing.
Okay.
Maybe the most removed.
As a music fan, do you like when artists completely reinterpret covers, or do you prefer usually when they stay true to the original?
I can go either way.
Okay. Do you have any favorites?
The Who are always really good at cover songs. They're one of my favorite bands. Summertime Blues is really good.
Yeah.
Young Man Blues is really good. Fortune Teller was really good. They're good at figuring out how to make a song their own really well, really good at it. But there probably wasn't a whole lot that band couldn't do. They're one of my favorites. And I really got the acoustic idea from a long time ago, like 1980 or 81. I bought a record called Secret Policeman's Ball, which was like a live record that had 3 songs on it with Pete Townsend playing acoustic, like in 79, playing acoustic versions of Who songs, Drown, Pinball Wizard, and Won't Get Fooled Again. When I heard that, you realize that this is just as good, as the Who doing it, just not as big, because the songs are good.
Yeah.
And that stuck in my mind all the way through. Me doing my solo records and stuff like that in acoustic, I knew I could do it. And without having to, most people, my contemporaries who play rock music that pick up acoustic guitar end up sounding like bad versions of James Taylor or some countrified horse shit. I love country music, but usually it's not my thing when they do that, or it's too folky. It's not weird enough. Whereas like if you take a guy like Bob Dylan, my favorite stuff by him, you can look at like a song like It's All Right, Mom, Only Bleeding. If you can punch it up online, like on YouTube, and find a live version of him in the early 60s doing that. And it is not precise or perfect, but it is really fucking good. It's just like you can do this without sounding like a kumbaya type of, sit around the fire type shit. It can still be really powerful and amazing. And that's kind of what we're going for. That's what I was going for with that. So
nice. So when you're recording a Melvins album, when you do the vocals, you obviously know that it's going to be surrounded by a big sound, but with a lot of the time. But with this album, your vocal is going to be obviously a lot more of at the forefront. Does that change the way that you record vocals in the studio?
Oh yeah, we worked really hard on the vocals on this. We did lots and lots of harmonies, lots and lots of careful approach to the vocals. The vocals took way longer than recording. Recording the vocals took longer than recording the rest of the song.
Right.
That was fairly straightforward, other than us dicking around trying to figure out a good way to get the guitars to sound when you just have acoustic, you're miking them. But the vocals were like, okay, one thing on this record that has to be important is the vocals are going to have to carry this in a lot of ways. And so we struggled over that a lot, really, really worried over it. And I think that those guys are good singers. And that's one element to the Melvins I don't think that people have really recognized that much up till now. How accomplished those guys are at singing and how we all sound really good together singing wise. We never hear people talk about the Melvins and their vocals ever, which is surprising to me because I've always thought those were one of our best focal points on what we were doing. Change the vocals, it kind of changes everything.
Yeah, of course. Well, maybe that's going to change now. Now that they have to pay more attention to the vocals, they might notice.
They'll still complain about something. Don't worry.
Of course. Do you plan on doing shows around this? Are you going to be doing like acoustic shows? Can we get an MTV Unplugged maybe?
We would love to do that, but we're probably not going to be doing any shows until us opening for Ministry. So I doubt we'll be doing those acoustically.
Yeah, and I can't see Ministry doing an acoustic album anytime soon.
Doesn't sound like the right choice for us to guitars before Ministry plays. You know?
But I remember one time seeing Ministry, and for the hour before they came on stage, they just played country music, like over the speakers before they came on stage. Yeah. And it had the impact that when they came on, they just sounded like the earth ending. It was just, they just sounded even bigger than they would have before because of the music we'd been listening to for an hour.
Yeah, I like a great deal of that stuff. Ministry to me sounds like Slayer crossed with Big Black, sort of.
That's a nice combination.
Yeah, I think that's what it sounds like. And I'm looking forward to it. We haven't done an opening spot in a while like that. So I'm really looking forward to it. They want us to do it. I'm happy about that. And playing live and making records, that's the deal I made to when I decided to be a music be my profession. Mm-hmm. I made an agreement that that's what I was going to do. I'm going to make music and I'm going to play it live. That's generally how we've operated. But I got that from Bob Dylan too. They go, why at this point are you still touring in your 70s? He goes, that's the deal I made. It's like, right. Highway 61 revisited, you know?
Right, of course.
He made the deal. You got to do it.
In the last 2 years, you know, you've had the records coming out. You've had basically 3 records out in the last 2 years, you know, yep. One foot more another. But obviously you haven't been able to tour. So what role, apart from making music for this record, what role has music played in your life when you haven't been able to go on the road?
Well, I still listen to music all the time. I write music all the time. For a while during the pandemic, last year, when my solo record got shake-handed and all my touring got shake-handed, I was pretty discouraged. I didn't even want to play guitar. And, so the idea of picking up the guitar, like maybe through June and July last year, I was just the idea of picking up the guitar was just depressing to me because it seemed like such a far off concept. So in a lot of ways, making the acoustic record was so different than anything we'd done as a band that it was kind of nice to get that out of my system and then move on from there. We've since done a lot more recording. I mean, we're always recording. We're always doing something. We have our own studio, so
yeah,
we do. We record a lot. We have a lot of stuff. That's not finished. We have a really cool thing with this band Helms of Lee. It's like a EP that we did with them that we have to finish, and then that'll come out at some point. And lots of stuff like that. I'm really looking forward to that one. I got to finish that. Hopefully I'll finish it this month and then get that thing in the works. But records take a long time to turn around. Pressing them and everything like that takes months and months and months and months. This is the longest period of time I haven't worked like that in more than 30 years. So it's weird for me. I haven't been doing tremendously well with it, doing the best I can. But weirdly, for decades, I've always thought something was going to happen that was going to stand in my way from doing what I'm doing. And so I've in some weird way prepared for that, thinking something was going to happen, whatever it may be. Wow. So I wasn't completely surprised by it, but at this point in my life, I'm not looking for career change. So,
so when you're putting together an album like this, you've got 36 songs. How much attention do you put into the sequencing of the order?
A lot.
Okay.
A lot of attention.
Tell me about the thought process behind that.
Well, I really like the song Edgar the Elephant. I knew I wanted that to start. Partly because I think it's one of my favorite songs I've ever written, and partly because I didn't want to start it with something old. I want to start it with a really good newer song. Newer for us, meaning in the last 15 years, you know.
Yeah.
So that was really good. And then I was thinking, you know, when I put this record on, what would I want to hear? I want to hear something clever to start with, and then hit him with hit. I want to get hit with the next song is Up the Dumper, which is a really kind of poppy-ish sort of song. It was on our bootlicker record. And then I want to hit him with something that's full force that hits the other end of the spectrum. So on the first side of the record, you have Edgar the Elephant, Up the Dumper, and Roman Dogbird, Hung Bunny, which is like off of the Lysol record. So those three together really, if you listen to it on a CD or however streaming it, if you listen to it in order, those three songs will really set you up for the rest of the record.
Okay.
What you're going to hear. So I'm keenly aware of that stuff. Just like I'm keenly aware of when we do live shows, exactly how the set lays out. I worry over this order of the songs on records a tremendous amount, thinking and rethinking and listening to them in loops, you know, different playlists, how I want to do it, which song I want where, how I want it to end, what makes sense here, there, not making sure that there's not too many of the same kind of song near each other, and just over and over and over and over. So by the time the record comes out, I'm done with the record. I've listened to it enough. By the time people hear it, you know, I've been enjoying it for months and months, and I've moved on.
Yeah, of course.
Now, then it goes out into public. And I saw this thing weirdly that Johnny Depp said about making movies. He goes, once I finish the movie, it's, you know, how it's received is really none of my business. Right. You do your best. You do your best work, and then you let it out there. You want people to like it, but really that's for them to decide.
A lot of people go on about how Melvins have influenced so many bands of lots of different genres.
Mm-hmm.
Which of those bands are you proudest to be connected with?
Oh, Nirvana and Soundgarden for sure. Those are the two biggest.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other bands that were influenced by those bands that got big that probably don't even like our band.
Yeah.
So I would never take credit for any of that. Even though they're indirectly linked to us. What's funny to me is it really shows you what little understanding those people have of Soundgarden and Nirvana. You know? They don't really get where that's coming from for them either.
Right.
Which is okay. I mean, I don't concern myself overly a whole lot about that kind of thing. I mean, I like the idea that our stuff has our ideas and my ideas about how music should be and what was missing from music that I thought of in the mid 80s were all things that then ended up through other bands like Nirvana and Soundgarden changed music on a global level. I mean, without me, that stuff doesn't sound exactly the same as that.
Yeah.
So that in of itself is good because it just makes me realize, or made me realize a long time ago, I wasn't wrong. You're right. Your musical instincts are correct. Just keep doing that and you'll be fine. Don't try to now go, well, I'm going to try to do this and make people like me. Just don't worry about that. Just do what you do and let them decide whether they like it or not. You do what you think is right, that you like it, and then that's good enough. And you're not perversely making things that people aren't going to like. I'm really operating in the way that I want other bands to operate, that I would appreciate as a fan. What would I like to see a band do? And that's really it. You know, that's all of it together, you know?
Yeah. And so as a fan, have you discovered any bands over the last couple of years that have impressed you in that way, in the way that you like to, you know, you're talking about bands that have an impact and stay true to themselves and do something maybe a bit different and don't really play by the rules, maybe?
None that come to mind. I mean, maybe Napalm Death to some degree.
Yeah.
They're lumped into this metal band thing, but they're not really. They're more like performance art to me. You know?
They're friends of mine.
Yeah. They're not a metal band to me. They're weirder. They're way weirder than that. I'd say performance art is the best way to describe it, I guess.
Yeah, because people who don't know about heavy music, Napalm Death is sometimes the cliche name that they drop about extreme music, and like when it becomes unlistenable to them, even if they've probably never heard of Napalm Death's music, they become that band.
Yeah, I guarantee you they haven't listened to it.
Exactly.
No way. They're way weirder than people think. They're not a metal band. They're much weirder than that. And I don't know what they are.
Yeah, I spoke to Barney once, and he said a lot of bands that cite as an influence probably couldn't play what we play, and people and also people that dismiss them as just being noise would be able to play what they play.
No, they're underappreciated and underrated as far as that's concerned. Lumped into this thing as they're not really. I mean, Slayer took them on tour. It's like they're not like nothing like Slayer at all. I mean, it's funny. I mean, I heard them described a long time ago as somebody firing a machine gun with a gorilla on LSD singing. You know. Yeah, that sounds pretty. That's not metal. You know.
No, that's not metal.
No, and so to consider them a metal band to me is just, it's dismissive. It's too simple. That's like considering us some sludge band is too simple. Listen to this new record, you know. But I didn't make it to prove people wrong. It's like, no, this is what we've always done. You know, you just maybe never heard it like this. That's the cool part of it.
Now the 40th anniversary of the Melvins is coming up. Have you thought about that?
I guess it would be. No, I don't really think about that kind of stuff.
You're not a nostalgia band, really.
I never have been. I've never been a good old days type of guy. I mean, through all that stuff, you know, like Nirvana and Soundgarden, we never stopped.
Yeah, well, that's something to celebrate.
Yeah, we went through all the way through it. That's solid. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe we'll do 40 shows.
40 for 40.
Yeah, 40 for 40. Yeah. One show a year for the next 40 years. How about that?
Okay, I hope you do that. That'd be great.
Yeah.
You can make them weirder and weirder. So what is next? What is next for you?
Well, hopefully we'll get on the road with ministry, hopefully, and then take it from there after that. I mean, we have a lot of things planned. Helm's Elite EP would be great. Some other things like that along those lines. I mean, we still work hard. Still doing as much as I can. I mean, this record is unlike anything we've ever done. So just there's nobody doing what we're doing. Nobody. We've done tons of different kinds of records, tons of different kinds of music, lots of combinations of things. And we have no brother bands, none. We're not part of anything. We're not hanging our hat on any, you know, we're part of this thing. We're this over here, you know, we're none of those things. And we're all of those things. And we're capable. Those guys I play with are capable of doing anything. So I am in a really good position. And I feel very fortunate in the fact that I can do what I want to do. And always have. I'm just going to keep doing it. You know? So
I hope you do, because I really enjoy what you're doing, and a lot of other people do. And just stay weird. And hopefully we'll see you on a stage at some point.
I hope so.
But thanks for spending some time chatting with me today. It's been a pleasure.
My pleasure. Take it easy.